88 Reasons Why the Rapture Will Be in 1988 was the title of Edgar Whisenant's booklet, which he used to strike fear in believers in America and some other parts of the world. He claimed the rapture will occur between the 11th and 13th of September 1988. Many sold their properties and held on to their cash, probably hoping to have some good money with them wherever the rapture will take them. Trinity Broadcasting Network, also known as TBN, helped spread the fear as the date approached by broadcasting tips to people on how to prepare for the rapture. And when the date arrived, the same TBN started broadcasting tips on what to do if you missed the rapture. The date came and passed. Nobody was raptured. Only their fears were raptured. Whisenant tried setting several more dates for the rapture until the Lord, probably embarrassed at this guy's crying wolf too many times, called him home in 2001. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. Fear is a magnet to that which you fear the most. You fear failure, it attracts failure. You fear heartbreak, it attracts heartbreak. You fear a broken marriage, it attracts a broken marriage. You fear accidents, it attracts accidents. You fear exams, you fail exams. You get the drift. The story of Job is a classical example of one attracting what one fears, or better still, why we should not be afraid. Many people believe God gave permission to the devil to visit tribulations on Job. Not exactly. Job had been living for years in fear and dread of those things happening. In fact, one of the first things we are told about Job is that he was continually offering sacrifices for his children. He was afraid they might have committed some awful sin. Job was consumed with fear. He was afraid his children were going to curse God. He was afraid he was going to lose everything as a result. As we discover in subsequent verses, Job's fear caused God's hedge of protection around him to be lifted. God did not lift the hedge, Job's fear did. His fear became a magnet that attracted the very thing he dreaded the most. Some people say, do not be afraid or fear not is written in the Bible 365 times, which means one for each day. But I say to the believer, God had spoken once, twice have I heard this, that power belongeth unto God. So I don't need to hear it 365 times. The spirit of fear dominates the world as we navigate uncharted territories. How many have experienced a pandemic? How many really know what they are doing? Even governments are fearful. The pandemic has exposed our underbelly because money, that which we hold as so valuable, is no longer guaranteed as economies fail globally. If economies fail, it is expected that everything whose foundation is the economy will also fail. Failure is associated with fear. They go hand in hand. Actually, fear comes before failure. Fear demobilizes you so that failure becomes a certainty. Even though faith and fear run on parallel lanes, they are both inviting you to believe in something which has not yet happened. The lane you choose determines success or failure. Faith is a confidence builder and motivates you. Fear is a confidence destroyer and discourages you. The fuel for faith and fear is knowledge. Your knowledge base, your understanding, your information reservoir. You can be knowledgeable about the wrong or right things. You can have the wrong or right information. If you know that your flight is at 1 p.m. whereas it is for 10 a.m., they are both information, but only one is the right information. If you dwell on all the businesses that have failed because of COVID-19, fear will make you take the wrong business decisions, which ultimately leads to failure. I know so many relationships and marriages that failed because one or both parties was operating in fear. Fear of heartbreak leads to suspicion, which leads to strife, and then the heartbreak follows. A fearful life is a faithless life. The only way to defeat fear and start winning is to get on the path of faith. The vehicle of faith only runs on the true knowledge of God. Faith and love are inseparable. When you know love, you trust. When you trust, you believe. When you believe, the impossible becomes possible. This is the faith ecosystem. Now replace love with God and let's examine the ecosystem again. When you know God, you trust Him. When you trust Him, you believe Him. When you believe Him, the impossible becomes possible. This is the faith ecosystem. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now mine eye seeth thee. So said Job in the last chapter of Job. After all Job's travails, he then comprehends that hearing about God is not the same as knowing God. He falls in love with God as he grasps the magnitude of who Yahweh is. Because of this love, he is able to pray for his friends in love, and fear disappears. God turned around the captivity of Job when Job discovered Yahweh for himself. When you know Yahweh, you can never be afraid of the rapture, COVID-19, or any situation known or unknown to man. Yahweh is love. When you know Him, your captivity will be turned around. God bless you all.